One day, you will notice something that no calendar warns you about. Your mother asks the same question twice. Your father walks a little slower. They sit down a little longer before standing up again. Nothing dramatic, no loud announcement, no emergency, just small signs that time is moving. And the most shocking part is not that your parents are changing, it is that your time with them is quietly shrinking. When you were small, your parents waited for you. They waited at the school gate. They waited for you to finish eating. They waited for you to fall asleep. They waited for you to grow up. And when you grew up, they still waited. They waited for a call. They waited for a visit. They waited for a meal where everyone sits together. They waited for the sound of your footsteps coming home. Many of us believe we have time. We say, I will visit on the weekend. I will call when I am free. I will be more present later. But the truth is gentle and sharp. Your parents' time is not as long as you think. So today, in this Dharma talk, we will not speak to make you sad. We will speak to wake you up, to wake you into gratitude, to wake you into tenderness, to wake you into right action while there is still time. Because the Buddha taught impermanence, not to frighten us, to help us live wisely, to help us love without postponing. Now, dear friends, welcome to Buddha Peaceful Mind. May these words soften your heart, not burden it. May they turn regret into action. May they turn guilt into gratitude. And may they guide you to a life where love is not delayed. Before we go deeper, take one slow breath. Feel that you are alive. This breath is not promised forever, and the people you love are not promised forever. This is not a threat. This is a reminder. A reminder that love is most beautiful when it is practiced now, not later. Not when life becomes easier, not when the schedule becomes empty. Because the schedule does not become empty. The mind simply becomes more awake. So let this talk be a bell that rings softly and says, return. Return to what matters. Return to the people who carried you. Return to the heart. Let us begin with the Buddha's clear truth. All conditioned things are impermanent. Bodies change. Minds change. Relationships change. Seasons change. Parents age. Children grow. This is not a mistake. This is nature. But why do we suffer so much around our parents aging? Because we forget. We forget impermanence. We forget how quickly a year becomes 10. We forget that one day, the last conversation will happen. The last meal together will happen. The last time they call your name will happen. And because we forget, we postpone love. We postpone listening. We postpone visiting. We postpone saying thank you. We postpone saying, I love you. The Buddha taught that suffering comes from clinging. Clinging does not only mean wanting people to stay forever. Clinging also means living as if they will. So the first step of practice is to see clearly. You do not have infinite time. This is not pessimism. This is preciousness. When you remember impermanence, you become tender. You stop wasting energy on small pride. You stop wasting time on endless distractions. You stop wasting love because of small misunderstandings. You begin to protect what matters. Many people think the problem is time. They say, I do not have time. But often the deeper problem is attention. There are three kinds of time. There is clock time, minutes and hours, deadlines and schedules. There is heart time, the feeling of closeness, the feeling of being seen, the feeling of being together, even in silence. And there is borrowed time, the time that can end at any moment without warning. Parents live in borrowed time more and more as they age. When you are young, you feel like life is endless, not because you believe it, because you feel it. So you postpone. You postpone love. You postpone patience. You postpone listening. You tell yourself, later. Later is a dangerous word. Later can become never. The Buddha did not say this to make you anxious. He said it to make you awake. If you remember borrowed time, you become gentle. You stop using sharp words, as if you can take them back tomorrow. You stop ending phone calls with irritation. You stop leaving the house angry. Because you realize something. One day, the last tone of your voice might be the last thing your parents carry. So this is the practice. Speak as if today matters, because it does. A story. A man once remembered a scene from his childhood. It was raining hard. His classmates were already picked up. The school gate was almost empty. He saw his father standing there with a wet jacket, holding an umbrella that was too small. His father smiled and said, "I'm here." As a child, he felt normal. As an adult, he suddenly felt pain in the chest, because he realized what he never saw before. His father stood in the rain for his safety. His father stood in discomfort so his child would not worry. Now the man is grown. His father is old. His father walks slowly. One day the father waited at home for the son to visit. The son said, "Next weekend." Next weekend became next month. And then one day, the father was not there. The son said, "If I could go back, I would stand in the rain for him once." But life does not go backward. So do not wait until memory becomes a knife. Make memory a warm blanket while people are still alive. Go now. Call now. Listen now. A man lived far from his parents. He was busy. He told himself, "I will visit when work calms down." Every week, his mother called. He answered quickly. He multitasked. He was polite, but he was not present. One day, his mother asked the same question twice. He felt impatient. After the call, he felt something like regret, but he pushed it away. Weeks later, he received news that his mother was in the hospital. He rushed home. He sat beside her bed and realized he could not remember the last time he listened without looking at his phone. He held her hand and said, "I am here now." She smiled, but she was weak. After she passed, he carried one pain that did not leave easily. Not the pain of death, the pain of postponed love. The lesson is not to make you afraid. The lesson is to make you present. Because regret is loud. Regret screams at night. But gratitude is quiet. Gratitude lets you sleep. So we practice now, not later. A daughter had a complicated relationship with her father. He was strict. He did not express affection. He criticized more than he praised. As an adult, she stayed distant. She thought, he will never change, so why try? Then one day she visited and saw her father sitting alone, quietly watching old family videos. He did not notice her. He was looking at her childhood face on the screen, and his eyes were wet. In that moment, she understood something. Her father had love, but he did not have skill. He had care, but he did not have language. She sat beside him and said softly, "Are you okay?" He wiped his eyes quickly and said, "I'm fine." But his voice trembled. That day, she did not solve everything, but she softened. The lesson is that parents are human. They carry their own wounds, their own upbringing, their own limitations. Understanding does not excuse harm, but it can free your heart from hatred. So the Buddha's teaching invites balance. Gratitude where gratitude is possible. Boundaries where boundaries are needed. Patience where patience is skillful. Distance where distance prevents harm. Balance is peace. Now let us speak about gratitude in the Buddha's way. Gratitude is not only saying thank you. Gratitude is remembering. Remembering what was given. Remembering what was sacrificed. Remembering the countless small acts of care that were never recorded. When you were sick as a child, someone stayed awake. When you cried, someone held you. When you were hungry, someone found food. When you were difficult, someone still stayed. Maybe your parents were not perfect, but something was given. Life was given, and life is rare. In Buddhism, gratitude is connected to right view. Right view means seeing causes and conditions. You did not appear by yourself. You were supported. So gratitude is also humility. It softens pride. It softens resentment. It makes the heart wide. A wide heart is a peaceful heart, and a peaceful heart creates peaceful speech and actions. This is how gratitude becomes dharma. Now let us also become honest. Some parents did not know how to love skillfully. Some parents loved, but their love was mixed with fear. Fear makes people controlling. Fear makes people harsh. Fear makes people critical. So part of maturity is seeing fear, and not only the surface words. This does not excuse harm, but it helps you respond wisely. Wise response reduces suffering for both sides. In Buddhist tradition, gratitude is considered a noble quality. It is the ability to recognize kindness, and it is the willingness to repay kindness. Repaying does not mean paying back like a business deal. It means living in a way that honors what you received. If your parents worked hard so you could study, then honor that by using your education wisely. If your parents protected you, honor that by protecting others when you can. If your parents gave you life, honor that by living with integrity. This is how gratitude becomes a life path. It becomes more than emotion. It becomes character. And character is something you carry even when your parents are gone. So when you feel gratitude, do not only feel it, practice it. Turn gratitude into action. Because action is the language that parents understand more than poetry. Now, what if your parents hurt you? We must speak about that carefully. Some parents were harsh. Some were absent. Some were abusive. The Buddha did not ask you to lie. He did not ask you to pretend harm was love. So the practice is not blind gratitude. The practice is wise gratitude. Wise gratitude means you appreciate what is wholesome and you protect yourself from what is harmful. You can honor life without returning to abuse. You can wish parents well without allowing ongoing harm. This is compassion with boundaries. Sometimes the most compassionate thing is to keep distance and stop the cycle of harm. Sometimes the most compassionate thing is to speak clearly, calmly. I cannot accept being shouted at. I will leave if it continues. We can talk later when we are calm. Short, clear, no drama. This is not disrespect. This is non-harming. If you grew up with fear, your nervous system may still react strongly around your parents. So be gentle with yourself. Your healing matters too. You do not have to destroy yourself to prove you are a good child. You can be respectful and still protect your mental health. That is wisdom. Now let us speak about what parents often want. They do not always want money. They do not always want gifts. They do not always want grand ceremonies. Often they want something very small. A call, a voice, a question, "How are you today?" A meal together without phones. A slow look into the eyes. A hug. A feeling that they still matter. Because one of the deepest pains of old age is not only physical weakness, it is invisibility. It is the feeling that after giving so much, they are now forgotten. So the Buddha's teaching calls us back to right action. Right action is living in a way that reduces suffering. If a 3-minute call reduces your parents' loneliness, that is right action. If a visit reduces their fear, that is right action. If patience reduces conflict, that is right action. You do not need to do everything. You only need to do something, consistently. Consistency is love. Busyness is real. Life is demanding. But often, busyness is also a story. We have time for what we value. We have time to scroll. We have time to watch. We have time to argue online. We have time to talk to strangers. But we tell ourselves we do not have time for parents. This is not a moral attack. It is a mirror. And mirrors are kindness, because they show us where to adjust. Here is a gentle reflection. In a busy week, where does your attention go? What do you give your best energy to? What do you give your leftover energy to? If your parents only receive leftover energy, what does that say? Not about your love, about your habit. Love can be real, but untrained. So we train love. We make love a habit. This is not romantic. This is spiritual. Because spirituality is not only meditation, it is how you treat the people who carried you. Let us begin with small practices that are realistic. For 7 days, give 3 minutes a day to your parents. 3 minutes. A short call, a voice note, a message with care. If they live with you, 3 minutes of full attention. Put the phone away. Look at them. Ask one real question. How are you feeling today? What do you need? What made you smile today? This practice will change your heart, because love grows where attention goes. Do not aim for perfection. Aim for consistency. Even if you miss one day, begin again. In Buddhism, beginning again is a holy practice. Now add one more practice, the phone-free meal. Once a week, eat one meal with parents without a phone on the table. No scrolling, no news, no distractions. Just food, breath, and presence. This simple act is a kind of meditation. Because mindfulness is not only sitting with eyes closed. Mindfulness is being here, fully. Now, a story that many of us have lived. A son visited his parents, but stayed on his phone. His mother cooked his favorite dish, He ate quickly and said, "Delicious." But his eyes never lifted. After he left, his mother said to the father, "He came home, but he was not here." The father said nothing. The next day, the son saw his mother's hands. They were trembling slightly as she washed dishes. He suddenly felt shame. Not guilt that crushes, a shame that awakens. He returned that evening. He put his phone away. He said, "Mom, tell me about your day." At first, she looked surprised. Then she smiled like a child. They talked for 30 minutes, nothing dramatic. But the home became warm. The lesson is that presence is the greatest gift. Parents do not need long speeches. They need your eyes. They need your attention. They need your heart in the room. Now, many listeners live far away, different cities, different countries, different time zones. You may feel helpless. You may say, "I cannot be there." So you postpone because you feel pain. But distance does not remove practice. Distance only changes the method. Here are 3 ways to practice from far away. First, consistency of contact. Not long calls once every 3 months. Short calls often. Even 2 minutes. Even a voice note. Second, practical support. Order medicine. Pay a small bill. Arrange a checkup. Send food. Help with paperwork online. Third, emotional presence. When you call, do not multitask. Give your full mind. Ask one hard question. How are you really? Then listen. If you cannot visit often, plan one visit and protect it like a sacred day. Do not fill it with other errands. Do not rush. When you are there, be there. This is the practice of arriving. Now, a story. A woman lived abroad for years. She sent money home. She thought that was enough. Then one day, her father said quietly, "I miss your voice more than your money." That sentence woke her up. She began to call every Sunday morning, 15 minutes, no multitasking. At first, it felt small. Then it became a bridge. When her father later became ill, she could not be there every day. But their relationship was already warm. The father did not die feeling forgotten. The daughter did not live with a heavy stone of regret. The lesson is that love is not measured by geography. Love is measured by presence, even through a phone. If your voice carries warmth, your parents feel it. If your voice carries hurry, they feel that too. So speak as if your voice is medicine, because it is. The Buddha taught a path that heals suffering. The Eightfold Path. Right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. How does this apply to parents? Right view means remembering impermanence and remembering what was given. Right intention means choosing kindness over pride. Right speech means speaking gently, not sarcastically. It means listening, not only correcting. It means not using sharp words to win. Right action means showing up, helping, serving, doing small tasks, not waiting to be asked. Right effort means being consistent, not only visiting when you feel emotional, but making love a habit. Right mindfulness means being present when you are with them, not letting your mind be elsewhere. Right concentration means giving full attention, even for a short time. If you practice these, your relationship becomes a practice field, a place to grow patience, humility, and compassion. Parents can be a monastery for the heart, because every day you are given opportunities to practice, to soften the ego, to release pride, to choose gentleness. That is Dharma. Parents sometimes repeat stories. They forget details. They move slowly. They need help. This can irritate adults because adults are tired. Adults are impatient. Adults want efficiency. So here is a Dharma reflection. Your parents once listened to you repeat things 100 times. Your parents once cleaned your mess, carried your body, stayed awake at night. Now you are being asked to return some of that patience, not as a debt, as gratitude. Patience is strength that does not harm. Now a story. A young woman felt annoyed when her father asked the same question again. She answered sharply. Afterward, she felt regret. She remembered a memory. When she was small, she was sick and scared. Her father stayed beside her bed and told her the same comforting words again and again. He repeated love until she fell asleep. That memory softened her. The next time he asked again, she took a breath and answered gently. Remembering softens the heart. If you forget what your parents gave, you become impatient. If you remember, you become tender. Caring for aging parents is also a training in humility. You see their weakness, and you see your own fear. You fear becoming weak. You fear death. You fear helplessness. So sometimes irritation is not about your parent, it is about your fear. When you see this, you can be gentler. You can say, I am triggered, but I can breathe. The Buddha taught that the mind creates suffering by adding stories. The body changes, that is natural. But the mind adds resistance. Why are they like this? Why is my life harder? Why do I have to do this? Resistance creates extra suffering. So practice a different thought. This is love training. This is patience training. This is my chance to become a kinder person. Not to become a saint, to become human. Now, if you are already a caregiver, you may feel exhausted. So let us speak about caregiver fatigue, because compassion also includes caring for yourself. If you are taking care of parents, you may feel guilt for feeling tired. You may feel guilty for wanting space. But tiredness is not ungrateful. Tiredness is human. So practice self-compassion. Self-compassion is not selfish. It is fuel. Without fuel, your love becomes resentment. So take breaks when you can. Ask for help. Invite siblings to share responsibility. Ask relatives for support. Use community resources if available. Even small help matters. One day off, 1 afternoon rest, 1 hour walk. And when you speak to parents, speak with honesty, not dumping, not blaming, just honest. I love you. I am tired. I need a short rest. Then I will come back. This is healthier than exploding. Explosion creates suffering for both. Now, a story. A daughter cared for her mother alone. She did everything. She refused help because she wanted to be a good child. Slowly, she became bitter. She began to speak harshly. One day, she cried and said, I am failing. A friend told her, you are not failing. You are burning out. So she asked her brother to help twice a week. She hired small support for cleaning once a week. She took one evening to rest. The mother did not become younger. The situation did not become easy, but the daughter became softer again. The lesson is simple. To care for others, you must also care for the caregiver. This is wise compassion. Now let us speak about repair. Because no family is perfect. In family life, mistakes happen. We speak sharply. We become impatient. We forget to call. We forget birthdays. We take each other for granted. So the Buddha's path includes repair. Repair is a form of wisdom. Here is a simple repair phrase. I was wrong. I'm sorry. I love you. Many people are too proud to say these words to parents. They think apology makes them weak. But apology is courage. Apology breaks the ego, and breaking the ego ends suffering. Now, you may not need all 3 words every time. Sometimes just one sentence. I'm sorry I spoke harshly. I was stressed. I care about you. Then do one kind action. Pour tea. Cook. Sit quietly. Hold a hand. Repair does not need drama. Repair needs sincerity. Now, a story. A father and son argued about money. They did not speak for months. The son thought, I am right. One day, the son saw his father sleeping in a chair, breathing slowly, looking older than before. The son felt fear. He realized, my father is not a debate opponent. My father is impermanent. He sat beside his father and said, I'm sorry for my harshness. I love you. The father did not speak much. He just nodded and held the son's hand. That moment did not solve all issues, but it saved the heart. The lesson is that pride is expensive. It costs time. It costs closeness, and time is the one thing you cannot buy back. So repair quickly. Repair while you can. Now, let us speak about forgiveness too. Forgiveness is misunderstood. Many people think forgiveness means saying what happened was okay. It does not. In Buddhism, forgiveness is release. It is releasing poison so it does not live in you. You can forgive and still keep boundaries. You can forgive and still keep distance if needed. Forgiveness is not returning to harm. Forgiveness is refusing to let harm live in your mind forever. Because hatred does not end hatred. Hatred only continues hatred. So if you carry resentment toward your parents, begin gently. Do not force yourself to feel love. Begin with understanding. Your parents were shaped by their own conditions. They were raised by their own parents. They carried their own wounds. They carried poverty, stress, fear, or lack of education. This does not excuse harm, but it explains patterns. And when you see patterns, you can choose not to continue them. That is deep practice. If you cannot forgive fully, forgive a little. Release one small piece of resentment today. 1 hour without replay. 1 day without retelling. 1 week without feeding the story. This is how the heart becomes lighter. And when the heart is lighter, love becomes easier. Now we will speak about the last day and the danger of postponing. We do not know when the last day is. That is why we must practice now. One day, you will want to call more, but no one will answer. One day, you will want to bring food home, but the kitchen will be quiet. One day, you will want to say, I love you, and the ears you wanted to hear it will not be here. This is not to make you depressed. It is to make you awake. If today were the last day you could speak to your parents, what would you say? Now do not wait for the last day. Say something small today. Thank you. I miss you. How are you really? I love you. I appreciate you. These words are simple, but they create peace. If this talk is touching you, you can gently support Buddha Peaceful Mind by liking or subscribing. Not for numbers, but so these reminders can reach more people who are postponing love without realizing it. Love also needs wisdom. Some adults think loving parents means obeying everything. It does not. Love without wisdom becomes suffering. So we practice the middle way. We respect, we care, we serve. But we also protect mental health. If a parent constantly criticizes, you can choose shorter visits. You can choose calm boundaries. You can choose to end the conversation when it becomes harmful. You can still send care. You can still support them in practical ways. You can still wish them peace. But you do not need to be abused to prove love. This is an important teaching, because some people carry a cultural idea that says, suffer to be good. The Buddha did not teach that. The Buddha taught non-harming. If you harm yourself to please others, that is still harm. So practice respect with boundaries. Speak with gentle firmness. I respect you, I care about you, and I cannot accept being insulted. We can talk when we are calm. This is right speech. Now, let us add another practical skill. When parents criticize, do not try to win. Ask one question instead. What are you worried about? Often, criticism is fear. Fear of your future. Fear of being left alone. Fear of losing control. If you can respond to fear, conflict becomes smaller. Now let us offer practices you can do with parents, even if they are not Buddhist. One practice is called the question of the day. Each day you contact your parents, ask one small question about their heart. What made you smile today? What was difficult today? What are you thinking about lately? What memory came to you today? What do you miss? What do you enjoy these days? These questions tell your parents you matter. Another practice is collecting memories. Record your parents' stories. Ask them, what was your childhood like? What did you dream when you were young? What was your hardest year? What was your happiest memory? What advice would you give me? What do you want me to remember? Listen without correcting. Let them tell the story their way. This is not history class. This is love. Another practice is service without being asked. Older parents often do not want to ask. They fear being a burden. So watch quietly. Is there a light bulb that needs changing? Is there paperwork that confuses them? Is there medicine they forget? Is there a small repair needed? Do one small thing. Then do not announce it. Do not demand praise. This is pure giving. Pure giving creates peace. Now we will add one more practice that is very powerful. The gratitude letter. Write a short letter to your parents. It can be 1 page. Write 3 things you are grateful for. Write 1 regret you want to repair. Write 1 promise you want to keep. Then read it to them if you can, or send it. Many parents keep letters like treasure, because words written with sincerity last longer than gifts. Now, A story about recording memories. A man began recording his father's stories. At first, his father laughed and said, "Why are you doing this?" The son said, "Because I want to remember you." The father became quiet. Then he began to speak. He spoke about childhood poverty, about sacrifices, about fears he never told anyone, about love he did not know how to express. The son cried, not because the story was sad, because the story made his father human. After the father passed, the son listened to those recordings again and again. They became a refuge. The lesson is that the best inheritance is presence. So do not only inherit money, inherit memory, inherit wisdom, inherit love. Now let us speak about gratitude as daily practice. Gratitude is not one big moment. It is a daily habit. Here is a simple gratitude practice. Each week, send one message that is not a request, not asking for anything, just appreciation. Thank you for raising me. Thank you for your effort. Thank you for calling me. Thank you for cooking. Thank you for being there. Even if your parents do not respond warmly, the message still matters. Because gratitude changes you. It softens your heart. And the softened heart speaks differently. Now, a story. A son and mother often argued. The son decided to try one practice. He thanked his mother once a day for something small. Thank you for the food. Thank you for reminding me. Thank you for caring. At first, the mother was suspicious. She said, "What do you want?" The son said, "Nothing, I just want to say it." After a week, the mother's voice became softer. After a month, the home became calmer. The son realized something. Many people become harsh not because they want war. They become harsh because they feel unseen. When you see them, they soften. This is the power of small gratitude. Now we must speak about the child inside you. Many adults are still children inside. They still want parents' approval. They still feel pain from childhood wounds. So loving parents is not only about giving, it is also about healing. If you carry deep wounds, consider gentle support, a counselor, a wise friend, a spiritual teacher. This is not weakness, this is wisdom. Because when you heal, you stop repeating cycles. And the greatest gift you can give your parents is not only money, it is becoming a kinder human being. Because when you become kinder, your whole family becomes lighter. This is how one person transforms a lineage. Now we will give a full 30-day practice plan. Before we go into the 30-day plan, we need to speak about something that quietly ruins love. The second arrow. In Buddhism, the first arrow is the pain life gives you. A parent ages. A parent becomes ill. A parent forgets. A parent becomes difficult. A relationship becomes strained. This first arrow hurts. But the second arrow is what the mind adds. Guilt that crushes. Shame that says, "I am a bad child." Anger that says, "They ruined my life." Stories that replay for years. The second arrow steals your energy. It steals your presence. It makes you avoid calls because you feel uncomfortable. It makes you avoid visits because you fear conflict. It makes you delay love, and then it creates more regret. So we must remove the second arrow, not by pretending everything is fine, by practicing wise remorse. Wise remorse is different from guilt. Guilt says, "I am bad." Wise remorse says, I did something unskillful, and I can repair. Guilt makes you hide. Wise remorse makes you return. So if you feel guilty right now, turn it into one action. A message, a call, an apology, a visit, a small help. One action is stronger than 1,000 regrets. Now, another important teaching is right speech at home. Many people speak kindly to strangers and sharply to parents. Because parents feel safe, we drop discipline. But right speech is most needed with those closest to you. Right speech is not complicated. Before you speak, ask 4 questions. Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? Is it the right time? If it is true but not kind, pause. If it is kind but not necessary, simplify. If it is necessary but not the right time, wait. If your voice is hot, breathe first. Now here are 3 simple phrases that can transform a family. The first phrase is, I hear you. Parents often repeat themselves not only because of memory. Sometimes they repeat because they feel unheard. So say, I hear you. Then repeat what they said in simple words. This calms them. The second phrase is, thank you. Thank you for telling me. Thank you for caring. Thank you for waiting. Gratitude softens defense. The third phrase is, I'm sorry. Not dramatic, not heavy, just sincere. I'm sorry I spoke sharply. I'm sorry I forgot to call. I'm sorry I made you worry. These 3 phrases are dharma in daily life. They reduce suffering immediately. Now we must also speak about dignity. When parents age, children sometimes treat them like children. They speak over them. They decide everything without asking. They help in ways that embarrass them. Even if your intention is good, your method can hurt. Parents want help, but they also want dignity. So before you help, ask, do you want me to help with this? Would you like me to come with you? Is it okay if I arrange this for you? Asking creates respect. Respect keeps love clean. Now, a story. A father began to lose hearing. His child would speak quickly and become impatient when the father asked, "What did you say?" The child felt irritated. The father felt ashamed. One day, the child saw the father sitting alone, watching the mouth of a television host, trying to guess words. The child suddenly understood. This is not stubbornness. This is loss. So the child changed. He faced the father when speaking. He spoke slower. He repeated without sarcasm. He wrote down important details. The father's shoulders relaxed. The home became softer. The lesson is that patience is not only moral, it is practical love. Now, another story. A mother often complained. She complained about her body, about neighbors, about old regrets. The child wanted to fix her. The child wanted to argue. The child wanted to say, "Stop being negative," but the complaints continued. Then the child tried a different approach. He listened and asked one question. "What are you worried about, Mom?" The mother became quiet. Then she said, "I am afraid of being alone. I am afraid of becoming a burden." Suddenly the complaints made sense. They were fear wearing a mask. So the child said, "I'm here. We will handle this together." The mother did not become cheerful overnight, but her tone softened. The lesson is that behind many difficult words is a soft fear. If you respond to fear with reassurance, the surface becomes calmer. Now, let us talk about siblings and caregiving, because many families suffer here. When parents age, old sibling patterns return. One child feels they do everything. One child feels judged. One child disappears. One child controls. Then resentment grows. The Buddha taught that blame creates more suffering. So the practice is cooperation with clarity. If you have siblings, speak early, not when you are already burning. Speak with structure. What does mom need each week? What can each person realistically do? Money, time, visits, paperwork, hospital trips. Make it clear, make it fair, make it flexible. And remember, fairness does not mean sameness. Different lives have different capacities. So do not demand identical sacrifice. Demand honest contribution. Now a story. 3 siblings argued for years about caring for their father. The oldest lived near and felt trapped. The middle lived far and sent money. The youngest was busy and avoided everything. The oldest became bitter. He shouted at everyone. He shouted at the father too. Then one day a doctor said, "Your father's condition is getting worse." Fear entered the family. They finally sat down. They did a simple plan. The oldest did weekly hospital visits. The middle paid for a caregiver 2 days a week. The youngest handled paperwork and appointments and visited once a month. It was not perfect, but it was shared. And when the burden was shared, the oldest softened. The father felt less like a burden. The home became calmer. The lesson is that love needs organization. Organization is not cold, it is kindness. Now let us speak about rituals of connection, because rituals create stability. If you only rely on mood, you will postpone. So create small rituals. A Sunday call, a weekly meal, a monthly visit, a nightly message, a short morning check-in. Rituals turn love into habit, and habit becomes protection. You can also create rituals that build joy. A short walk with parents, tea together, looking at old photos, cooking one dish together, visiting a temple or a park, sitting in silence for 5 minutes after a meal. These simple rituals create heart time. They create memory, and memory becomes a refuge later. Now, let us make a 1-year vow, because 30 days is a beginning, but love is a path. A 1-year vow can be gentle. I will call every week. I will visit every month if possible. I will help with 1 medical checkup each season. I will record family stories slowly. I will fix 1 small thing in the home each month. I will apologize quickly. I will not leave with harsh words. These vows do not require perfection. They require sincerity. Now, before we enter the 30-day plan, let us do one more guided practice. Take a breath. Bring to mind your parents. Notice what arises. Maybe gratitude, maybe irritation, maybe sadness, maybe guilt, maybe love, maybe numbness. Whatever arises, let it be here. Now say inwardly, I do not need to be perfect. I need to be present. Now choose 1 small action. 1, not 10. 1 small action today. Now breathe and commit. This is how practice begins. Now we can enter the 30-day plan. A 30-day practice of returning home. Not necessarily to a physical home, to the heart. Week 1 is contact, 3 minutes a day. Call or message your parents with full attention. No multitasking, no rushing. If they do not pick up, leave a short voice message. I'm thinking of you. I hope you are well. Week 2 is service. 1 act of service a day. It can be tiny. Order medicine, help with paperwork, clean something, fix something. Send food. Ask what they need. Week 3 is listening. 1 story a day. Ask your parents to tell you 1 memory. How was your childhood? How did they meet? What was hard for them? What did they fear? What did they dream? Listen without correcting. Listen without judging. This listening is healing. Week 4 is repair. 1 repair in the relationship. Apologize for 1 sharp moment. Thank them for 1 sacrifice. Forgive 1 old wound. Or simply say, I want to be closer in a healthy way. Do not make it dramatic. Make it sincere. If your relationship is not safe, repair may be internal. It may be releasing resentment. It may be sending loving kindness from a distance. It may be letting go of the need to change the past. Repair is not always reconciliation. Repair is always release of poison. Now, a simple checklist you can repeat each month. Contact, service, listening, repair. These 4 actions can change your life because they protect you from the heaviest pain later, the pain of regret. Before we move to those whose parents have passed, let us expand the 30-day practice with very practical guidance, because many people sincerely want to do better, but they do not know what to say or what to do. They fear awkwardness. They fear conflict. They fear that parents will criticize them. They fear silence on the phone. So let us make it simple. For week 1, contact, here is a 3-minute call structure. First minute, warm greeting. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. I just wanted to hear your voice. How are you feeling today? Second minute, 1 hard question. What did you eat today? Did you sleep well? Did anything make you smile today? Is there anything worrying you? Third minute, 1 reassurance and 1 closing. I'm thinking of you. If you need anything, tell me. I love you. I will call again on this day. That is all. A 3-minute call does not need deep philosophy. It needs warmth. Now, if your parents are not talkative, keep it even simpler. Hi, I'm thinking of you. I hope you are well. I just wanted to say I love you. I will check on you again. Short calls are better than no calls. Now, if your parents begin to criticize during the call, do not fight. Use the gentle technique we mentioned. Acknowledge, reassure, redirect. Acknowledge. I hear you, Mom. I understand you worry. Reassure. I'm okay. I'm working on things. I'm taking care of myself. Redirect. How about you? How is your health? Do you need anything? What did you do today? This is not manipulation. This is skillful means, because many criticisms are fear, and fear calms down when it feels seen. Now, for week 2, service. Some people think service must be big. It does not. Small service is powerful. Arrange a doctor appointment, help with medications, Order groceries. Pay a bill. Replace a light bulb. Fix a broken chair. Help set up a phone so they can video call. Teach them how to avoid scams. Write down important phone numbers. Create a simple list of medicines and doses. Put it on the fridge. These are acts of love. And notice something. Service is also a way of saying, you are not alone. Now for week 3, listening. This is where many adults feel emotional, because listening to parents' stories can awaken both gratitude and grief. You may realize you never asked about their childhood. You may realize they suffered more than you knew. You may realize they had dreams they never spoke about. So approach listening gently. You do not need to interrogate. You can begin with a soft question. What was your favorite memory when you were young? What was your happiest day? What was the hardest thing you went through? What did you learn from your parents? What do you want me to remember about you? And when they speak, practice the silence of listening. Do not interrupt quickly. Do not correct details. Do not debate history. Just listen to the feeling. Because the goal is not perfect facts. The goal is connection. Now, if your parents say painful things, try not to defend immediately. If they say, you never care about us, it may be their loneliness speaking. You can say, I'm sorry you feel alone. I want to do better. Then show it with action. You do not need to win the argument. You need to reduce suffering. Now for week 4, repair. This is where many hearts are afraid, because repair requires humility. It requires you to admit you were not perfect. But remember, parents do not need perfection. They need sincerity. Here are simple repair sentences. I'm sorry I have been distant. I care about you. I want to be closer. I'm sorry for the harsh words I spoke. I was stressed. You did not deserve that. Thank you for your patience with me. Thank you for raising me. Sometimes, parents will respond warmly. Sometimes, parents will respond awkwardly. Sometimes, parents will say, it's fine, and change topic. Sometimes parents will not accept your apology immediately. Do not demand a perfect response. Just do your part, because your part is your karma. Their response is their karma. The Buddha taught that we are responsible for our own intention and action. So you do what is wholesome, and you let go of controlling outcomes. That is freedom. Now, we must speak about illness, because many families face it. If your parent has memory loss, dementia, or serious illness, your practice must become even more simple. Speak slowly. Speak kindly. Use touch if appropriate. Use routine. Use repetition without sarcasm. Often, a parent with memory loss cannot remember facts, but they can remember feeling. They remember warmth. They remember tone. They remember safety. So become a safe tone. Become a gentle presence. Sometimes you do not need many words. You can sit, hold a hand, play a song they love, bring a familiar smell of food, show a photo, say, I'm here. This is Dharma. Because Dharma is not only teaching, Dharma is presence. Now, let us speak about anticipatory grief. This is the grief you feel before death, when you see aging clearly. Many people avoid it. They distract themselves. They become busy. But grief is also love. Grief is the shape love takes when you realize impermanence. So do not be ashamed of grief. Let it soften you. Let it remind you to say what matters now. Say thank you now. Say I love you now. Say I forgive you now. Say I'm sorry now. Do not wait for the hospital room. Now, a story. A man lived busy and far away. He sent money. He visited rarely. One night he saw a missed call from his father. He thought, I will call tomorrow. Tomorrow came. Work came. He forgot. 2 days later, his aunt called. Your father passed. The man's legs became weak. He listened to the father's last voicemail. It was not long. It was not dramatic. It was just the father saying, I was thinking of you. Call me when you can. That voicemail became a wound and a teacher. The man could not change the past, but he could change the future. He began calling his mother every week. He visited more often. He became more present with his own children. He said, I cannot repay my father, but I can honor him by changing. This is also karma. Karma is not only consequence. Karma is transformation. When suffering makes you kinder, the suffering is not wasted. Now, if this story scares you, return to the truth. You are listening now. You have a chance now. Do not use fear as pressure. Use it as awakening. One small action today is enough. Now we can move to those who no longer have parents. Now let us speak to those who no longer have parents. Some listeners may feel a different pain. Their parents are already gone. If that is you, this talk may feel like salt on a wound. So let us speak gently. If your parents are gone, you can still practice. You can honor them through your life. You can care for their memory with gratitude. You can take their lessons, both good and painful, and transform them. If you have regret, do not let regret destroy you. Let regret guide you into kindness. You can still speak to your parents in your heart. You can still write a letter and read it aloud. You can still visit their resting place. You can still do acts of goodness in their name. In many Buddhist cultures, people dedicate merit to departed loved ones. You can understand this in a simple way. When you do wholesome actions, your heart becomes lighter. That light can be offered as a prayer. May my parents be at peace. May whatever suffering remains be eased. May this goodness be shared. Whether you see this as spiritual or psychological, it heals, because it turns grief into love, and it turns regret into practice. So if your parents are gone, do not think you missed the path. You are still on it. The path is to live in a way that honors love. Here is a simple way to honor parents when they are gone, and also a way to deepen love when they are still alive. Live your gratitude. What does that mean? It means you stop using your life to create more suffering. If your parents struggled so you could have education, then use that education to build a clean life. If your parents carried you through illness, then care for your own health and do not throw your body away. If your parents sacrificed for your safety, then do not chase danger to impress others. If your parents wanted you to be a good human being, then become one. This is the deepest offering. In Buddhism, a wholesome life is called merit. Merit is not a medal. It is the quiet strength of a clean heart. When you live with honesty, you create merit. When you live with restraint, you create merit. When you live with generosity, you create merit. When you live with patience, you create merit. And you can dedicate this merit in a very simple way. Before sleep, place your hand on your heart and say inwardly, "May whatever goodness I created today be shared. May my parents be at peace. May my family be protected. May my heart be wiser." Whether you see this as prayer or as psychology, it brings healing, because it turns memory into kindness, not into bitterness. Another practice is to keep a small ritual of remembrance. Once a month, do one thing that your parents would be happy to see. Cook a dish they loved. Visit a place they enjoyed. Help someone older. Donate to a cause that supports families. Speak kindly to a child. Then say inwardly, "This is for you." This is how love continues without clinging. Now, if your parents are still alive, you can also practice living gratitude. You can stop postponing love. You can stop saying, "I am too busy," while spending hours on things that do not matter. You can choose one day each month to return, not only physically, mentally. Return with attention. Sit with them. Ask one question. Listen fully. Leave the phone away. Even if the visit is short, the presence is deep. Presence is what people remember. Another practice is to speak about your parents to your children, if you have children. Tell them one good story about grandma or grandpa. Show a photo. Teach them to greet elders kindly. This is not only nostalgia, this is building roots. A child who learns respect and gratitude becomes a safer adult. And when you teach your children to love your parents, you also give your parents joy. Now, one more gentle reminder. Do not wait until you feel ready. Readiness is often an illusion. Most meaningful actions happen before we feel ready. So if you feel a small opening in the heart right now, use it. Send one message, make one call, plan one visit, offer one apology, say one thank you. Small actions done consistently can change your whole life. Now, we can return to the living. Now, let us return to the living, because if your parents are alive, you still have a door, and you do not want to wait until the door is closed. Now let us offer a longer guided meditation to close. Sit comfortably. If you can, place one hand on your chest. Feel the warmth. Bring attention to the breath. In breath, knowing. Out breath, softening. Now bring to mind your parents. Not their mistakes first, not their harsh words first, just their human faces. See them as young. See them as children once. See them as people who also did not know everything. Now, if gratitude arises, let it be there. If pain arises, let it be there. Do not force, just allow. Now say inwardly, "May my parents be safe. May they be healthy. May they be peaceful." Now say inwardly, "May I be patient. May I be kind. May I use my time wisely." Now bring to mind one action you can take today. One call, one visit, one message, one meal, one hug. Choose one. Then breathe and commit. Not as pressure, as love. Now, if you have conflict with parents, Bring to mind one small thing you can release. One old story, one demand, one pride. Breathe out and soften it. If you cannot soften it yet, that is okay. Just set the intention. May my heart become lighter. Now rest in silence for 5 breaths. This silence is not emptiness. It is love without words. Now open your eyes gently. Now, we will close with the essence. Now, dear friends, remember this. Your parents do not need you to be perfect. They do not need you to be famous. They do not need you to be rich. They need to know that in your busy life, there is still a place for them. And you do not need to do everything. You only need to do something, consistently. Because love is not measured by dramatic moments. Love is measured by presence. So do not postpone love. Do not wait for a perfect weekend. Do not wait for a perfect mood. Do not wait for a perfect relationship. Begin with one small action. A call, a visit, a question, a thank you, a hug. If this talk supported you, you can share it with someone who is always busy and always postponing love. And if you want more long, gentle teachings, you can subscribe to Buddha Peaceful Mind. It helps these reminders reach more hearts, especially those who need them quietly. May you return home while there is still time. May your heart be light. May all beings be safe. May all beings be well. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be free.